So it's been about a week since I've done a podcast style video. I know that, trust me. However, I have decided that in between the prospect profile videos that I'm doing, I'm going to be doing one every other day. Only reason you got back-to-back ones between the JT Thor and the Davion Mitchell one was because I was late to upload the JT Thor one. The JT Thor one was supposed to come out on the 17th instead of the 18th, and the Davion Mitchell one was scheduled on time on the 19th. So you won't be getting another prospect profile video until tomorrow, which will be about James Bouknight. I'm really excited about that one. So be ready for that. Like, subscribe, do all those things. Be notified when that James Bouknight, video comes out by clicking the notification bell. I'm tired of doing shameless plugging. It's my least favorite part of making these videos. I'll be quite honest with you. However, today, if you can tell by the title of the video, I am going to be doing my Who's in the Cleveland Cavaliers draft video. I'm going to be releasing one of these again in between the prospect profile videos, starting with Cleveland because I already made a video talking about why the Pistons are going to draft Cade Cunningham and how he fits with the team. I also made a video talking about Evan Mobley and why I believe that he should go to the Houston Rockets. So I think starting with Cleveland makes sense because if I made one about Detroit, I already did that. I've actually made probably too many Cade Cunningham videos over the past few weeks. And, I don't want to sound like a broken record with either of those, whether it be the Houston Rockets or the Detroit Pistons. So we're going to start with Cleveland with that third pick. Now, with the Cavs, with the third pick, it really comes down to one thing. Who's going to be available between Jalen Green and Evan Mobley? Now, like I mentioned in the Houston video, I think Mobley's like the second best player in this draft. He should go to Houston. He fits very well with the team. However, there is a chance that they do take Jalen Green. I would not be mad at the idea of Jalen Green going second overall to the Houston Rockets because of the fact that I think he's a very good player. I think Mobley's better, solidifiedly better, but they're still in the same tier for me. They're still in that 2-2 for me as prospects, so it's not too much of a gap between the two. So there was a chance that, Jalen Green goes second overall. And if Jalen Green goes second overall, Cleveland should just take Evan Mobley and don't look back. Because Evan Mobley is like the perfect fit for Cleveland. You might be saying, oh, they have Jared Allen. Mobley, for one, can play with Jared Allen because he's skilled enough to play the power forward spot, to say the least. And he probably wanted to play power forward early on just because, he's not the most physically imposing player yet. And he will need to work on his strength. And I think playing power forward will just be better for him early on just until he adds that strength to his frame throughout the year. Again, he's a very good fit. With Evan Mobley as a prospect, I mentioned it many times before, he has some legit guard wing-like movement skills at 7 feet tall. It's not like, the Bol Bols, the Don Makers, guys like that, where it's like, oh, they say this and it's all this hype. When you watch Evan Mobley play, you see these things. It's very obvious. He has great fluidity. He has a good handle for a big man. He has good passing vision for a big man. Needs to work a bit on the accuracy, obviously. He's somebody that has shooting potential. It's not quite solidified yet, but there are so many promising indicators with his shooting. His feel for the game is off the charts. Defensively, he has great lateral quickness. He moves well north to south and east to west. He's somebody that can drop, head, switch. He can do all these things on defense. He is nearly the perfect big man prospect in a sense. He has versatility on both ends of the floor at a high level. It's rare to find a prospect you can take a whole side of his game away from, and he would still be elite. Take away his offense, elite defensive prospect. Take away his defense, elite offensive prospect. So if Mobley's on the board at 3, I don't even think you let the clock get to 4 minutes and 59 seconds. You run that pick up and you announce it. You don't talk about any trades. You just make that pick. Evan Mobley, future franchise cornerstone of the Cleveland Cavaliers. However, there is also a chance Jalen Green's going to be there. Now, me personally speaking, I would just take Jalen Green because he's the best player available. I do think after Jalen Green in the top 3, there is somewhat of a drop-off. Not too much of a drop-off, but there is a drop-off, I would say, between him and that next 2. That next 2 in my opinion, includes Jalen Suggs, Jaden Springer, Josh Giddey, Sharif Cooper, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, and Keon Johnson. And I do feel like with this, you just take Jalen Green. Like, it just makes the most sense. I think that they're going to try and move on from Colin Sexton. I definitely think that relationship between Sexton and Cleveland isn't really great right now. And they're trying to move him, obviously. And really with Jalen Green, you get the role that Colin Sexton is playing already, which is kind of this score-first guard that can potentially give you like 25 plus a night. I think Jalen Green has that kind of potential. But the difference is that Jalen Green has a wing-like frame, or can grow into a wing-like frame at 6'6", 178 pounds. His physical tools just profile better for his play style and the role he plays compared to Colin Sexton, but Colin Sexton has the build of a point guard, but really is a two guard. And I think Jalen Green could just be a better version of what Colin Sexton is, and I think that Jalen Green can do what Sexton does for Cleveland, but could have potential to do that at a higher level on a better team than Sexton does, because I think Sexton's a good player. I think Jalen Green has like legit All-NBA level potential, so I definitely think there's a gap between their ceilings. And I really like Jalen Green's fit with Darius Garland. Darius Garland, somebody that can score the basketball. He can get you like 15, 20 points a night. But he's also a very good passer as well. And I think he's more than willing to defer to someone like Jalen Green. I think it would be a fun fit between those two. And then you have Isaac Okoro, obviously. He plays the three. He can be your defensive guy. Do some passing stuff as well. I hope they use him more as a passer this upcoming season. And he plays great defense. I think he's one of the better young defensive players in the league. And then you have Jared Allen, obviously. That gives you the power forward spot. Really, with Cleveland, no matter what, it's going to be Jalen Green or Evan Mobley, in my opinion. I don't think taking Jalen Suggs makes much sense. Especially if they're keeping Colin Sexton. Because I don't know how that fit. Actually, I think that fit would work between Colin Sexton and Jalen Suggs. Just because Sexton can be the scorer and Suggs can be the off-ball playmaker. But at the same time, that's something I would try to trade down with like Toronto or Orlando to make happen. Just because of the fact that I don't value Suggs as highly as most do. So there is that there. Also speaking, I just think that Jalen Green's upside is just a lot higher than Jalen Suggs. So I think that the discrepancy between their ceilings and floors is too big to justify taking Suggs over Green. Look at other options. Josh Giddey could be a fun one. I wouldn't take him third overall. I like Josh Giddey. He's like top 5 on my board. I don't know if I would take him over Green. He's not that level of prospect. Same with Sharif Cooper, who I'm way higher on than most as well. I've heard some talk about Jonathan Kuminga as well. That's a name that's come up. Jonathan Kuminga is somebody that, I like him as a prospect. I do. I've definitely cooled down on him a lot. He's gone from like number 2 on my board to number 9 on my board. I have questions about his feel for the game. I have questions about how he will translate to a 5-on-5 offense because of the fact that when he doesn't have the basketball in his hands, he's not really doing much. He has great physical tools, but he doesn't dominate despite his physical tools to the level that you would expect him to. So there are concerns there. Really, it's just be Jalen Green or Evan Mobley, whoever's available. But, other names are going to be brought up. Moses Moody's name's probably going to come up a little bit. Scotty Barnes' name will probably come up as well. If Cleveland was picking, 5th overall, or even 4th overall, actually, if they were picking 4th or 5th, and Mobley and Green were off the board, I would probably say take Scotty Barnes, because I think that'd probably be the best fit there. But at the end of the day, for me personally speaking, I just personally feel like it's going to be one of those two. It's going to be Mobley or it's going to be Jalen Green. Whoever is available with that pick. I think it's very simple. You can bring up other names, but really, I just think that those two are they've kind of separated themselves a bit. They're in that a tier of their own, in between Cade Cunningham, who's in that first tier, and the next two of lottery guys. Like, they're in a tier of their own between that. So, I just think you take one of those two and you call it a day. You call it a draft. You invite a potential franchise cornerstone, because I think that either of these guys, both of them actually, have higher ceilings than the young core that they have already, which says something, because I like Isaac Okoro. I think he has a chance to be a really good player. Colin Sexton's a really good player. Darius Garland has potential to be one of the better guards in the league, in my opinion. But at the same time, Mobley has a chance to be a top 10 player. Jalen Green has a chance to be the top 25 player, in my opinion. These are the kind of ceilings I think that these players have. And you might be saying, oh, you might want a more certain thing, but at the end of the day, that's the point of draft. You take a chance on the potential. And I think that they should take a chance on the potential of Jalen Green or Evan Mobley. But that's all I have to say. If you enjoy these podcast style videos, like and subscribe. If you like the NBA draft videos, like and subscribe as well, I guess. Go subscribe to my new main channel. Going to be doing a lot of film essay style basketball stuff over there. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Have a nice day.